Dry.
My name's Dry, and the guy that talked to you on the phone. Cool, good.
So, I want to ask some questions about your cause. Like, the social issue you target is homelessness.
Kind of. That's a big project of ours, but not just homelessness. We help people that are really dealing with poverty is the overarching issue. Yeah.
So you want to ask the first question?
Okay, so yeah, this one or
This one first.
why do you think that this issue is so important?
Well, it's because when people are living in poverty, they're struggling. You know, they're having trouble finding a place to live, so they can be homeless, or just finding food to eat, or even clothes on their back, or that kind of thing. And I find then if they're dealing with that, they can't improve the rest of their life. So their health, their education, their relationships, and it just really leads to a tough, difficult life.
It's very important.
Yes.
So you're just gonna be flipping.
Sure.
How much money do you raise per year?
Oh, well, so if it comes to like community money, like from the public, we raise about $400,000 a year. Now we do have contracts, like government contracts and stuff like that, that pays for our shelter and things like that. But like things like our community meal, our kids' lunch program, stuff like that, that's all community funded. So about $400,000.
That's good.
Alright then.
And what would you do with $5,000?
Sure, yeah, actually, so our two major things right now that we're ramping up our funding for, and what this kind of funding could help, is one is to send kids to camp. So we send about 50 kids to camp in the summer. They get to go for a week and just get out of their house where they're stressed about exactly what they're going to eat and what they're going to wear, and just enjoy camp. Also, we do a large back to school program. Last year we helped over 400 kids with back to school supplies, because as we can all imagine, if you're starting the school year off and you don't even have a backpack, it sucks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we try to support that stuff for them. Yeah.
Okay then. How has your strategy evolved in recent years?
Oh gosh, wow, that was an interesting question. Well, for us, as even as you guys pointed out, in this community, a lot of people think that the Salvation Army, all we do is homelessness. And although we do run the shelter, and it's a large part of our program, we actually do even more programs for families and youth. We actually, like, we do the back to school, we do a school lunch program, we do a baby supply program, where we provide about 200 families every year with baby supplies and necessities. So our strategy has been to try to focus on that stuff, to let people know about that kind of stuff, because again, that's all locally funded, and if it's not funded, we can't do it.
Alright.
So, what are the most serious cases what are the most serious cases with this issue that you have dealt with?
Oh boy, that is a very difficult question too. I mean, if we think of homelessness, if that's what we want to look at. So we did have a family one time. The father, he worked for many years, worked really hard, but then he hurt his back, and he was an electrician, couldn't go back to work, tried to pay the bills, lost his housing. The whole family had to move into the shelter, and unfortunately, then the father became very depressed because he felt like he wasn't providing for his family, wasn't taking care of his family, wasn't doing what he's supposed to do, and they end up getting split up and going different ways. Luckily, over time working with him, he was able to get his life back on track, and the family was able to get back together. But that is just one of the kind of cases that we deal with.
Okay. Who are the founders of this charity?
So the founders actually are William and Catherine Booth. It was in 1865 in England. That's where the Salvation Army started.
Okay then.
Yeah.
It's a very long time.
Yeah, it's 152 years, 53, yeah.
Skip that one question.
Okay. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now, what are the difficulties this charity has encountered?
So a lot of it is, again, kind of we talked about misinformation. People not actually knowing about the large scope of things that we do, and think that all we do is homelessness and we encourage homelessness or anything like that. Our goal is to shut ourselves down, because we don't want anybody to be homeless. We don't want to be anybody in poverty. So our goal every day is to try to shut us down. I wish we didn't have to exist. So.
Do you think your charity has made an impact on this community?
Absolutely. I mean, even if we just look at the 150 kids that we're feeding every day in our lunch program, if we weren't feeding them, those kids would be hungry. That's an impact, you know, just that simply. But I know of people that have lived on the streets or have lived in really, really tough situations, and we've helped them, and today they're got jobs and they're working and they got families, so I know we've helped those people. Yeah.
So great, and how do you feel about the charity?
The Salvation Army?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Salvation Army. I've been part of the Salvation Army for many, many years. I've been working for the Salvation Army for 21 years. I feel like our mission, and I feel like for us, we believe in helping people. That's very important with practical needs, but we also want to give people hope. Hope that they're not stuck in what they are. They're not just someone who's poor. They're more than that. They can accomplish more than that. We want to give them hope that they can still accomplish a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions we have. Thank you.
No
for
problem.
having us
Thank you
here.
thank you.
Anytime, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.